It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Ace, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Welcome to The Real Word Season 7, Episode 16. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that's helped us to get this far so far. Shout out to everybody that helped support the turkey drive that's coming up November 20th. We're doing the annual turkey drive. This is our 4th annual turkey drive, so shout out to everybody that's been supporting so far. Also, shout out to everybody that followed us on Instagram at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram, at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. We also on Facebook. We live on Facebook every Monday at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. That's www.facebook.com/The Real Word 7. That's The Real Word 7, 7 like Mike Vick. Or The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Facebook, The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Facebook, or catch us on podcasts at The Real Word Ministries Podcast, The Real Word Podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, and Apple Podcasts. Also, we're also on the Brick Network every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 12 noon. So check us out. Check your local cable listings. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
You already know it's the one and only AI in the building. You know, add me on Instagram, Irving11. If it ain't no 11. You know, I got my water. I wish I had tea.
You got tea right there under the table.
Bro, that thing is hot. It gotta be cold.
Yeah, man. And also, we got a familiar face in the house. Introduce yourself, brother.
What's going on, y'all? It's Alan. You can follow me at profit_A1. Health, fitness, all of that.
And we got 3 special new guests in the building. Introduce yourself, gentlemen.
Yo, peace. This is Dave Lockworth, Long Island Vegan Pop-Up.
Long Island Beach.
This is Jerry Laine, Long Island Vegan Pop-Up.
Aye.
What up, y'all? It's Jalen, Abuvv, Luna God, Long Island Vegan Pop-Up, Wave Creators. Y'all already know.
Aye. So what exactly is Long Island Vegan Pop-Up?
Yes, Long Island Vegan Pop-Up is Long Island's only 100% vegan market. So, like, picture like a farmer's market where all the vendors are cruelty-free, plant-based, vegan. So, you know, we're about bringing the community together, bringing different options for people to try, to learn, and also, you know, to spread awareness to the vegan movement.
So, all 3 are vegan?
I'm vegan. I've been vegan for 5 years. It'll be 6 years in February. You know, my man Jerry, he's just transitioning for the past year or so, year and a half. You know what I mean, Jalen?
You a vegan though?
Yeah, I was, you know.
You don't look like a vegan.
I had to turn into a vegan, like, immediately because my stomach had got really messed up. So that really got me on it. Dave was already a vegan years ago. Like, honestly, like, in our circle of people where it wasn't even really a thing. Like how it is now, everybody trying to get CMOS, everybody trying to do these different things. It wasn't even a thing like that when he was first vegan. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when my stomach got messed up, because he was already in it, it made me go into it a little bit more. But regardless, I promote healthy living anyway, because even though we might eat meat, all these different things we know is bad for us.
Right.
Regardless, but
like
you know.
For me itself, it was for my son. My son was born and he has all type of allergic that you could think of. He can't eat no eggs, no type of nuts and all that stuff. So he ended up making his own. He would tell you he has his own YouTube channel where he makes his own food because he can't go out and eat anything at all. He can't go to a store and buy cookies because he has milk or whatever it is. No, he can't eat.
Even if like you just need a little snack.
No, he has to be. He had to be vegan. So that's the reason that we did the transition.
Carry a backpack with some.
Actually, we do. Let's just say if we're gonna go to a kid party, we have to bring our own food with us so we could give him because he can't eat it when it's there.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So with that itself, and that's one of his men right here. He end up creating his own YouTube, so he makes his own food himself. So that helped us do the transition. That's the story behind me.
You want to go to Food Network?
Little man, he's a superstar.
Yeah, little YouTube. I call him little YouTube, man.
Yeah.
You want to see Chef Ramsay? I don't know if he could be able to handle Chef Ramsay though.
The thing that interests me the most is that you touched on something that is trending right now, you could say, and that's the vegan lifestyle, the sea moss. And I could credit that to my boy Alan because he got me into sea moss. Like he gave me my first jar of sea moss, and I remember last year during the whole pandemic, that's when a lot of people went back to nature, almost like, how can we get back? And that's when we was more in tune with nature. Like I remember going to the park and the grass was real high. I was playing with the kids, and you could like feel it, the animals was free and everything. Like I used to go on early morning walks through the neighborhood, and even though it was the concrete jungle, you still felt the essence of nature because it was peaceful.
Yeah, nah, definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah, I missed that time too. Everybody was inside, and you go.
But then that time allowed us to go back to that, and that's where that whole vegan natural thing comes from. Now, like the trendy part, not people that's been like that their whole lives, because we know like Rastafarians, they've been vegan, like those that choose to be vegan, like they take that very serious from what I know, So now we see a lot of people being vegan now, and a lot of people turn vegan because of health issues. A lot of people do have health issues. Like I remember one of my boys' father, he had cancer, and they gave him like a year to live, and then he beat it by going vegan and going natural, and he beat cancer. So it's like we seen it work, but now we see black men going into business with promoting it on a different scale. So what made y'all turn into a business or get involved in this business?
Well, basically, I was inspired by always going to the boroughs to find different vendors, find different certain products that I wanted, and it was always like an hour plus drive each way, and just sitting in traffic really inspired me to bring something like that to Long Island, man. I just got tired of sitting in traffic, going to Harlem or Brooklyn or the Bronx, just to get a few things, you know what I mean? Sometimes 2, 3 things, so. And I always thought, like, why do they have events like for vegan-centered events in Long Island, where I'm from? So I just turned my thought into reality. That's pretty much, the whole idea, the inspiration that I got from it. And I thought that, I know a lot of vegan people in Long Island, and we all have the same issues. Like, can't find good places to eat on one place, or I just wanted to create a marketplace where you can find a lot of different options. Everything is vegan in one place. Everybody can, come, learn, spread love, support local businesses. And, we actually got something coming up, Vegan Friendsgiving, Saturday, November 20th, Roosevelt, Long Island. A very free vegan Friendsgiving. We having, a vegan dinner party. Gonna have some of the best food you can get in the vegan world.
From the top chefs.
So definitely come out. Got some of the top chefs. You're gonna have top DJs there. So, you know what I mean? Check us out, LongIslandVeganPopUp.com. You can follow us.
You gonna be there?
You might be. You might be, though. It's fact.
There's no telling who might come.
You might be there.
South Beach might pull up.
It's fact. Juices for life. So, yeah, make sure y'all follow us on Long Island Vegan Pop-Up on Facebook, on Instagram, LongIslandVeganPopUp.com. November 20th, a very vegan Friendsgiving is live into effect. Don't miss it. It's going to be fire.
Aye. So don't miss it, guys. One thing we can say that goes along with the vegan lifestyle is this conscious lifestyle, and that's another thing that a lot of us receive the light. Like we got a friend, we call him a Mindflow, right? And he said that he calls himself Mr. White Light. He said the white light hit him, and that's when, he feel like, and that's when he came into consciousness, like the consciousness that he's at now. And he was heavy, like very, very, very heavy. He lost a lot of weight when he came into consciousness, and he went vegan, and he started fasting, taking care of himself. So from your perspectives, like what form of spirituality or comes along with it and that has helped you guys towards that state of consciousness?
Well, like I tell people when they come to the vegan pop-up, there are certain elements that you already know that exist, which are the people here probably care about themselves just a little bit more than the average group of people that you go visit, right? Because everything is about self-care. You got people that serve certain food that's vegan, but then you got people that got health products and things that are vegan or natural products that don't have any additives in it, whether it's sweets or whether it's facial products or whether it's skincare products. So one thing I noticed about vegans, they're all conscious about details, right? And then like if you go have conversations with these people and you start to find out that people might do yoga or people might be into meditation or people might have a faith that they're just really into. They got certain morals, certain level of discipline in their life for them to be able to follow. I mean, to be a vegan, you have to have a certain level of discipline anyway, right? Because you got to be able to be in the face of everywhere else in the secular world eats this way. So it's almost like when you got a friend that smokes weed all the time and you don't smoke weed and you're just around it all the time, and like you could be in a moment where it's rocking and we celebrating and it's just a simple hey man, and that's 1 second you can just be like yeah cool, but then you break your discipline. Of course.
A great thing about the Long Island Vegan Pop-Up and the biggest misconception, people think that when you're vegan all you eat is lettuce.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't.
No, I know you may not be, but most people that's what they think. Oh, you guys only eat grass only? No, the Long Island Vegan Pop-Up show that you could eat every single type of food. The only difference is it's just not an animal product. It tastes the same. Sometimes it might even taste better than the actual. People will say, how can it taste better? Listen, I ate meat before, and I'm telling you, it could be as good as the actual real thing. So it's. The misconception is also people need to make small goal. People need to make.
Most people don't even like lettuce and tomatoes.
People also need to make small goal because people would say, "I'm gonna go vegan. Let me try to do a year." It's too much. You may not. You're gonna fall off the wagon. The way that I did it, I do it on a daily basis. I said, "Let me see if I could do today." Not to eat meat. Let me see if I could only do tomorrow without. So I go by the day instead of setting a goal for a year. Exactly. You only take a certain amount of days before he becomes a habit. So you have to create that instead of just saying, let me see if I could do it for a year. It's too long. You're going to fall off. Make small steps. Small steps. It's just like going to the gym. The next thing you know, you wake up at 6 o'clock going to the gym and it's just like, second nature to you. It's the same thing. You just create small goals and you take your steps. And you'll do it. After a few weeks, the next thing you know, you start traveling and go get food, and you'll be like, you know what? I haven't eaten meat for 6 weeks. You didn't even realize it been that long.
Yeah. I kind of dabbled with like the vegan life this year. For the most part, I would say like 90% vegan in the sense of that. But like I choose the circumstances when I do eat meat. But it's kind of like what we talked about earlier, like ignorance being bliss, like acquiring certain knowledge, knowing that like food carries certain energy and finding out that like chemicals
it's different when you go shopping.
So when you like, wow. So it's like even when I do eat meat, I feel guilty when the times I would. I go for like fish of some sort. But for the most part, I've been like plant-based for some time. That was a smoother transition than I thought it would be too. I'm not gonna lie.
I seen him eat a steak this morning.
Nah, but I would say this: like, if I was in another country and I know the food is being cultivated in a different way, I don't think I would feel guilty to eat meat. Like if I was in another country on vacation, then I'll feel fine because I feel like those animals are being brought in.
Not right from the farm.
Different circumstances, exactly. Yeah. But American meat, you just gotta be cautious because it's 9 times out of 10
it's additives.
It's not good. And they say that you see how like our products have like labels and the ingredients. You're not required to have the ingredients in meat because then you'll see all of like the antibiotics.
Of course,
in meat. So
of course,
just America, man.
If you see the video, you see the meat come out flat like a piece of paper, and they ingest
you don't want to see the real video where the pus comes out of the meat.
Then you go vegan.
That's where the disease is. The disease is in the meat. It's in the mucus. But when you think about our ancestors when they were eating, swan, this is the purest swan that you can eat.
Yeah,
it's literally from the farm. It didn't go through no it didn't travel on a truck or anything though.
Yeah.
And like, listen, the problem is people OD on things.
This
is the problem. It's not even the fact that you might eat meat because if you're from a country where You got diets that are rooted in origins of meat. Yeah. That's what it is. But to eat meat every day, like to put something dead in a body that's alive every day, and then you wonder why your stomach and your intestines have all these problems when it comes to excretion, because you have something dead. Your small intestines is not built to digest this food. You know, animals eat their kills right after, because that's when the enzymes are the livest, and that's when they can digest the food the easiest, is when they're live. So, you know, us killing an animal, you know, it's like a baby calf, and we're drinking baby calf's milk. That's for a baby calf. Like our mothers, when they breastfeed us, that's for a baby human. You're not supposed to be drinking. I'm telling you, it's just what it is. It's just reverse engineering on our diets. Like you said, everybody's going back to an origin. Like you said, that consciousness, people started to go back. Now we might say, oh, this is new. No, this is your origin. This is where you come from. The original diets of the earth, the Kemet diets and all of that. Like, this is where that comes from. These are vegetable, fruit-based diets with no meat in them.
Right. So what about you? Like, how has the vegan life impacted you spiritually? Because I see you have the crystals around your neck, so tell us about that.
So becoming vegan has definitely made me more grounded and balanced as a person, as a human, and as a father. You know what I mean? And no, I'm a Taurus. Shout out to all the Taurus out there. And it's made me more grounded and more appreciative for life, man. You know what I mean? It made me respect life more, whether it be bugs, animals. You know what I mean? Everybody is here for a reason. You know what I mean? And also, it just opened my mind, made me more inclined to learn more. You know what I mean? About the whole process, and also about farming, about, you know, cultivating things yourself, being more independent. And, you know, it's definitely helped me learn more, keep an open mind. And it's made me more calm and balanced overall, man. Once I got the meat and all the animal products out of my diet, you know, it's definitely just opened my eyes, made me more aware of things around me and what's going on and what's in tune. It's more balanced with the earth itself, man, you know what I mean? So that's one thing, me personally, that I'm grateful for, and that I see that growth. And every day is something, every day, I mean, I notice different things, you know what I mean? And it was the best decision I made in my life.
Speaking of being more in tune, like when you do reach a certain level of consciousness, you start to see how everything around us is so connected, in the way one thing is affecting the other, that's affecting the other, that's affecting the other. And if your eyes are not open to it, it's easy to be overlooked. Because a lot of people would rather say ignorance is bliss. With that said, I could say that we've been put in a predicament where those that oftentimes speak against the social programming are those that are outcasted. There's a couple of them that we see in the media. There's Elon Musk, the guy that proved, like, when they was like, okay, we have world hunger, he's like, okay, I got the money right now. Yeah. Like, and we know he got it. But he's like, okay, show me where my money gonna go if I'm really gonna save the world with this money, because I'll still have money left over that I can't even spend in this lifetime. So then they had to retract their statement, like, no, it's a deeper problem. Yeah, it's a deeper problem. It's not about money, it's about politics.
You don't want to help anyone.
Exactly. But they don't want him to say that neither. Yeah. But he has the power to say so. And then we look at someone like Kanye West, disrupting the system, as in like 5 million views in 3 days? It's like he went viral off of just saying things that other celebrities won't say, but at the same time naming names and just saying it outright, like things that people usually say with the door closed.
With no cameras watching.
And they call this the age of Aquarius, right? For those that know, they're like, we're in the age of revealing, the age of Aquarius, where we're able to see things for what it is. So what do you guys think about that? Because you and I was even talking about Haiti, and we was talking about Kanye, we was talking about prophets. We were like, what is a prophet, and what's the prophet today? These two Caucasian ladies called me, and they want to speak Creole because they want to learn Creole so they could go minister in Haiti. It's just like the other white people that went to Haiti to minister that got kidnapped by the Haitians. And you see how all of this is connected together.
For real. The fact that we had that conversation prior to that interview coming out kind of like bust my head. And then we were talking a lot of like deep topics that he was kind of going into detail about. So just seeing that, like I said, like you said, everything starts to align after a while. and just getting that message from like a higher person. And people would say he was like maybe out of pocket for saying some of the things, but I think one of the biggest things that he did express was just showing that he was being true. He was speaking his truth, and that was his truth. He didn't care how anyone would judge him based on what he was saying, and he was just going off of his personal beliefs. And I think the biggest thing about America now is a lot of people tend to be scared to be who they are because they're worried about how other people are going to perceive them and judge him. And at that point, he just showed that with faith and confidence that you can just speak out whatever you need to say and get your message across, and not really worry about the repercussions if you mean well. You know what I'm saying?
And money.
And you had money and
He made a
power.
big point because when the group chats him, I got more money than everyone in this chat. So he was like, "Look at where you at. Look at where I'm at." Like, and it's a little cocky. It was a little.
I mean,
You have to, I guess. At that.
I mean, but listen, I don't know that you would say that, but you're contemplating suicide, and that never crosses my mind in this night. You know what I'm saying? How you might say that, right? Because more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
a fact.
I think people just need to understand where people are coming from and stop trying to fix opinions and reflect how you feel on other people and take it as it is. Like one thing Dave said about being a vegan, how it helped them, and it's just not in the field of trying to be a vegan. Like whenever you humble yourself, whenever you fast, whenever you do anything like that, where you take away from the physical world, you pay attention to the subtleties and the details more. Like if you're in a relationship with a woman and you pay attention to the details of her and take away the physical prowess, you might realize, oh, I don't even need to be with this person just because you was able to
You speaking big facts.
remove the smoke and mirrors and look at the details instead of, I like to call them the imagery.
The imagery, the mask.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what people see when it comes to black culture.
Yeah.
Like you got rich white guys, we've all done business and I've had investors where these guys want to buy into urban culture because they're on the outside of it. They're on the outside looking in, and then you got certain people that might see Dave, me, and Jerry, and guys are black. And this is a real thing. This is like a top 3 thing
I didn't
that
know you guys were black.
I would say that people would say or get the impression where this type of thing, the way it's put together, especially in Long Island, you wouldn't think that 3 black dudes run it.
It's often.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main
Nah, I ain't
things.
surprised.
People pull us to this, hey man, you guys are doing your thing. So like when little things might happen when, you might have a code enforcer or something like that, because as black people, when you do certain things that are outside of the element or in a place like Long Island where no one has done it, period, then the people that's doing it are black. You're going to create literally a line.
Pandemonium.
But some people going to pick a side and say, no,
Yeah.
those guys are doing their thing. And then there's going to be people that's going to try to find little things that make no sense, that are totally irrelevant.
Like
Just because we're black. Look, we could literally do the same thing that Tommy and Johnny did, but no one say nothing about it. So we also mindful about that when we conduct ourselves and when we have these conversations with all the different people, because every type of person comes up to us. Every type of race of person comes up to us, and just being able to have these conversations with them to let them understand what we're doing. Because, for example, some of these people don't get cultural experiences.
Nah, they don't.
They're having them here at the pop-up.
They won't even understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, in a week, they haven't touched and shook a black person's hand, period.
Wow.
Yeah.
They haven't walked past a black person, period.
Wow.
Except today.
Wow.
You understand? So we also recognize the cultural impact that we have in Long Island. We're bringing certain groups of people from North Long Island, South Long Island, and then from the places like Hempstead and Freeport and Uniondale, and mixing them with people from Patchogue and all of that. So that's something else too that I like with Long Island Vegan, is how we mix in our demographics in Long Island, and Long Island can get separated like that based on money, how much money you make, different things like that. People scoff. The white people scoff at the white people. Like the North Shore scoffs at the South Shore, So it's just understanding those dynamics and demographics, even when we promote, even when we market, even when we pick a location, right? To have a location where we know that all our brothers and sisters feel comfortable going. It's not too far, it's not too whitewashed. And then also for our other demographics that are not black and that are not Spanish, for them to feel comfortable to come west.
Yeah, safe.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It's important. It's definitely a key thing.
Facts right there.
Absolutely.
So what you guys think about that? About the same things that we were just talking about? I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the Kanye West situation.
Speaking your mind, things of
Yeah,
that nature.
it's where like he's speaking his mind freely, and it's almost like people in his position are not supposed to speak like that because they're supposed to be under control. And he was like, I'm no longer under control. That's how I could speak like this.
He been feeling like that though. You see, he been kind of last 5 years. He been like.
The Yeezy brand just made him feel like a whole different man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta change your what is it? You gotta reinvent yourself, come back out, so your personality can shift.
He jumped over the jump man. Of course he gonna feel like that. He jump over MJ. Like most people don't even jump over him.
Yeah, no doubt.
So what you guys think about that? Where we at the age of Aquarius, where people are speaking freely? Like how do you guys, or expressing themselves even without speech?
You know, I feel like that's a part of life, man. You know, I feel like everybody has their own brain. Some capacity, they have their own.
I don't think everybody
own
really
separate.
Have their own brain.
Well, everybody has their own brain inside their head.
You have a brain inside of your head.
Who controls it? That's a different story.
How
I feel like more evident today. People expressing themselves. I feel like the past 18 months, people have more time to reflect on themselves because they couldn't go nowhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now. A lot of people expressing themselves more than ever, being true to themselves, or some people are just really following what they see on TV and social media and just following whatever, you know what I mean? There's leaders and there's followers in this world, you know what I mean? Every day though, everybody has the same 24 hours. Everybody has a chance to make different choices. So that's up to them ultimately. You know, that's how I feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, I really can't control what anybody else says. I can't control what you do or say. So, like, I really just focus on what I can control personally.
Sometimes people worried as well what other people might thought when they have their own ideas to come off to the light. Be like, hey man, I'm scared to do this because I wonder what you guys gonna think. And when that idea come to light and everybody be like, wow, I was thinking of the same thing, but I never take the time to put it out there. You know, sometimes that people say, do you have a stupid questions? Don't worry, there's about a bunch of people that has the exact same question. They just don't want to say it until you said it. They be like, oh, yeah, you know, in their head they be like, I had the same question. I just didn't want to say anything because I thought it was a stupid question or a stupid idea, whatever that might be. But you're talking about people speaking their mind, you know. And nowadays, just like Dave said, people are speaking their mind because they've been in the house for so long. They don't have to listen to other people telling them not to do so. So now they're coming out of the light. Hey, here's what I was thinking of. Sometimes it's not politically correct. Sometimes it's not. And that's the reason that you're talking about the Kanye West too, because he's not supposed to, because he's saying he's a billionaire. He's only a handful of them who's supposed to be talking about the same thing. You're not supposed to be going far left. You understand? So by doing so, he's like, everybody else is looking at them, what this guy is doing. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be with us because we control the majority of the wealth. And now you're doing something totally different. So people have to start thinking a little bit more.
But then he also told about he also told on the other people that's being controlled. Like he called them out. Like he called out John Legend. He called out Big Sean, and he was like, "Look, you jump onto the Democratic Party or whatever they say to do." And it was like Joe Biden, perfect example. He's been in office for how many years now? And he's hurt black people over the years.
I mean, he's been a part of some of the most heinous bills.
I want to know one question. Who voted for Biden? I just want to know.
We all did.
I don't feel happy no more, right?
Democrats all the way.
But yo, all I know was that like, I feel like since I've been alive 33 years, like I haven't really personally seen a president that's done anything magnificent for us as black people. We got to do stuff for I don't really care who's in office. Like my people don't unite, so like we have to focus on uniting. Like everyone who's brown should be uniting. Until then, I really don't care who. I don't care about politics at all. I care about black people uniting. We would be running the whole entire world if we united. And like
that's a hard task.
There's so many things in place. That would be a whole nother podcast episode. Things are in place for years and centuries to keep us divided. But like that's the one thing. It sounds really easy saying it, unite. But that's like you said, it takes so much to do that. But that's really the missing link to like every person who's black and brown
they already know
to win in this world. If we united
Hey.
It pretty much would be it'd be a different world that we live in right now.
I think we all need to study history. The problem with black people is we don't know history, and the white man knows history. Listen, this is very important, and Jerry knows this because he works for a bank. And like I said to you before, I've had investors, every kind of race, sit here, and when you talk to them and hear the things they care about, and then you listen to me and you and us and other black men with money and listen to what they care about, they're in two different ecologues. They're on both sides of two different spectrums. You feel me? Like what he said, like, as an individual, as black people, when I look at history, the only time black people have advanced is when they have leaders. Leaders, literally, a face of the movement, a face that if a group of white men who are diabolically planning against us, they could look and say, that's the guy we need to go get. If we don't have that, we don't advance.
The whites then?
See, you can't look at them as us. We are the oppressed. You can't look at the oppressors and say, who's the leader? It's many of them, because they operate in many different fields of industry and sectors. But when it comes to black movements, for example, I'll give you a perfect example.
We pay them every day.
We know all the black heroes that they promote.
Died. Yeah.
No, not even died, that they promote.
Oh, yeah.
They selectively choose these people to program people. Now, when you're an individual who studies outside of that and you study all the other history, and you become conscious of that, when you go back and do the history, you can see the steps and plans taken in the 60s to get civil rights. Do people understand this ain't that long ago?
No,
this ain't 100 years ago. And how black people united was through leaders.
Yeah.
They needed to see someone go outside with fire blazing, get hit with it, everything, come back inside and say, yo, I'm all right. And then everyone follows. But when you got different people separated,
So who's gonna be the leader?
I don't know who's gonna be the leader, because no
Who's
one.
gonna be the leader?
See, here's the thing. I've always been that type of person, right? But when you talk about a revolutionary, like a worldly change, worldly,
you need security.
You need someone visibly on a large scale for black people to identify with that's willing to die.
So he has to go through political power or social power?
They have to follow the footsteps of their forefathers, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
So two different things, because Malcolm X got his power through the church.
Absolutely. But the
Martin
goal
Luther
is
King
the same
started at the church and he
thing.
went to
I'm
the
willing
government.
to die for what I believe in. It doesn't matter the specifics to me, because the color's black.
So wait, look. So you're saying basically the person has to be attached to some kind of clergy, because that's where the first black demographic is.
I won't say clergy, but I just believe that you have to be willing to die. You can't care about entities. You can't care. You have to be able to move in those circles, like a Kanye. He's in the circle. Jay-Z was in the circle, and he slowly removed and separated himself. He took all his music out of any entity that was only available for his, and put himself on the other side of the fence, because he had acquired all the resources he would now need. But without, you see, he waited. He waited for that time to denounce his affiliations with people. And that's what I mean. Kanye just did the same thing. This is what he just did. If you thought I messed with son, I don't. If you thought I worked with them, I don't. I'm giving y'all a chance to hear from my mouth. And Kanye's actually an example of somebody who is showing hints of that leader type of. You might not, it might not be in the fashion that you like or the fashion that you're accustomed to black leaders being, but this is a new age. So the type of black man that's being produced is different. No, but what's happening is a product of what's created. People will say, oh, the music y'all listen to, but in the 60s, y'all was on heroin and doing dope and making these songs that sound crazy.
And we can't complain, because even if you hit it from a religious standpoint, all the religious leaders, they all had crooked and shady backgrounds.
No question,
Jacob was a trickster, Moses was a murderer. So you look at these dudes, and these are dudes that God selected. So here we judging a man, he's not good enough to be a leader for us, but he got more things checked off than us.
It's real.
Because he's Dr. Kanye West.
Exactly.
He got his own land in Wyoming.
You got to start thinking about it when he's like, yo, he's a billionaire. How did he acquire his wealth? I should listen. But the average ignorant dude would get in there with Kanye and try to argue with him. I'm telling you. They've been there argue with this man. But yeah, definitely though.
But if you think about it that deep, like, he has a PhD, he's a billionaire, like, he owns land, he owns 100% of his company. Like, and he could go on TV and say whatever he wants to say.
You don't live in the house. How you make I said I don't live in the house. No bag. He said my bag is my house.
But
he said I just upgraded my bag.
Nah, but he's basically saying that he's rich to the point where anywhere he goes, he could stay somewhere.
Yeah.
But even the Mason is like that because there's lodges in every single city and every single place, so they could live like that. So imagine the level where he's at.
A wanderer, a dweller, a traveler.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
He's connecting to that Christ energy because that's what the Bible said. Because when the disciples said, "Let me follow you, Christ," he said, "Be wary, for the fox of the ground has a hole, and the birds of the air has nests, but the Son of God has no place to lay his head." So he's basically saying the same thing. I have no home.
That's why he changed his name to
Yahshua, God. So he changed his name to God.
That's a fact.
Pretty deep,
That was a good quote of scripture right there, brother.
Thank you, man. The real word.
Real word right there too.
That's a fact.
I can't even lay my head down. It's so real for me. You want to hang with me? You sure? They don't be opening the door for me. Be like, but you. Yeah,
but what they're gonna call you? They're gonna call you crazy.
Yep.
And I'm saying, if he's crazy, how is he a billionaire, bro?
Everyone else is crazy.
But every other billionaire is a genius. But the one billionaire we have that's outspoken, he's crazy. Because if you compare Kanye West and Elon Musk, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, it is. And if you see some of the stuff, like I follow Elon Musk, if you see some of the things he says anything he wants.
Exactly.
Like he'll bash a company and that company will go viral.
Yeah.
Yo, like Elon Musk says your company and like your stocks and your crypto go crazy, and then he'll chill on it. And I watch him strategically do it, but no one critiques him under the same microscope.
But that's power. Power is the ability to make someone act in a desired way.
Absolutely.
That's what Malcolm X said. Power is the ability to make someone act in a desired way. So he's basically using his power and his privilege and his influence to influence your emotions and your moves.
It's so easy.
From the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
That's the music
That's
industry.
why he wearing a mask.
I mean, that's how the music industry works.
Well, hold on. Any industry, you're black, I know that. You're from a hood. I know that you've never seen $20,000 on a table at one time so much that it'll look like 100 to you.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put 2 car keys on the table, and then I'm gonna snap my fingers, and 2 girls are gonna come in, and I'm gonna say, all of this is yours. Here's the key to the house, and you just signed the contract and you just walked out, like, because I know. I'm preying on your desires. I mean, this is what the devil does. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, just give me your soul.
Leverage.
You can't put 20K on the table. I'm sorry, man.
Speaking of that,
20K not even money, bro.
Summer
like
Walker,
2 brands right there.
her contract came out and people found out that she's not even making no money for
her.
Summer Walker.
Summer Walker.
All of them.
And
All of them. And it's like
all of them.
they selling you this fake lifestyle, and it's like the only way that they could really benefit is by being famous, so they could be around rich people that's gonna give them expensive gifts, or that's gonna put them in a position to invest. Meek Mill, perfect example. He started hanging around billionaires. He started getting Richard Milles. Now everybody else have Richard Milles now, right? But what benefits did he get? He get to hang around the Sixer Zone. He get to do this and that. So now they probably put in his ear, let me look over your contract, or let me make my lawyer look it over.
That's what happened.
And he's like, oh, what is this? And now he's acting out like a kid, but it's like, you should have read. But if you go on YouTube and you put Meek Mill signs contract, he has a video of him signing a contract on a yacht. Like you say, he's on a yacht.
Line you up.
He gave him a bottle of liquor, and he signs the thing, and the girl's robbing his shoulders, and he's like, yeah, I'm signing a drink chase. He get a chain, and now, how many years later, he's complaining. But while they've been on...
They gave him a $50,000 advance in cash. I just want y'all to know that. Pusha T said it best. What he said? He said a half of something is like 20 billion where I'm from. He said
a $500,000 is like $1 billion where I'm from.
That's crazy.
This is some of the realest stuff said, because when you watch these young black men do this continuously, it's to the point where the black kid after the other black kid can be like, damn, look what they did to them other 10 black kids, man, that's bad. And it still happens. Because when you in that moment, it's like when they be like, I wouldn't have snitched. You don't know if you would have snitched with $20 million in the line to you in that room, bro. It's that real of a thing. It's a moment thing. You feel me? A lot of people like to criticize people when they in these moments. You know what I'm saying? Of the highest magnitude and the highest pressure. You got somebody that's like $50,000 a walk, but you going back to a shack with your mom in it. Like
that's what they. I feel
these
like
are these moments.
They aim for like the oppressed. Like they aim for
Yes.
that. Like, are you not? You
Got a record.
Exactly. If they know you ain't never seen 20 kids when the 20 kids come on the
It's
table,
about their agenda.
you gonna look like
Yep.
that like it's a
about the
bill.
agenda.
That's why I be
And
like,
where they from too, the imagery is everything, son. Because it's like
Yeah.
what you carrying, what you stash, and everything like that. That's what's gonna make you desirable to the people around you. So if they don't have anything, and as soon as they say, "Yo, you're gonna be able to wear this, that, and the third," they're not worried about like the stuff that matters. What they said, what like guns and butter, the stuff that's gonna actually be able to get you money and not be a liability. They sign their life away for some.
The
for
best
a blue
thing- the
check
best
and
thing
100
is-
million followers. You know,
One of the best
we all
thing
know those,
is
though.
when those guys has like a Lamborghini and they pull up into the project and jump 3 of their sisters in order to sleep on the same bed, but they would have the biggest chains and they would say, "Yo, you see what I'm driving?" But
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not gonna take that money
No money
and
in the
invest
bank,
it in
nothing.
order to do something else
Nothing.
because the showing what you have is more important than actually have true wealth. So.
They say 10% of like U.S. citizens make up the stock market. That means 90% of it is owned by like the hedge funds and
Of
people
course.
that actually have money.
Of
So that
course.
means I don't know what's more scary, the fact that 90% of Americans are scared to utilize money as a tool, and they have this fear, this scarcity mindset, thinking if they spend the money won't come back. That's why the money don't come in the first place. You got to be able to detach from the money for the money to come in. So if only the rich people are doing it, then it's like you need to wake up. You keeping your money in the bank. They're investing the money that you should be doing the same thing with. So
Yeah.
Let me give you a perfect example.
Talk to him, Jay Baker style.
Let me give you a perfect
Baker
example.
style.
As soon that you're born, what they tell you, take your money, put it in the bank, get 0.0001%, and your 20,000, don't ever spend it. When the rich kid, what they will do is they take that 20,000, invest it in some stock, and the stock will grow, and they get their revenue from that.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, is we don't have enough people to teach us that, because the person who's supposed to teach you don't even know, which is some of the fathers who don't know that,
Yeah.
because they prefer to show off instead of teaching their kids how to do wealth. Is one of the biggest thing that you might think is most young black kids who don't know anything about credit. They don't know how to keep their credit score. They don't even know what that is. And you speak to certain other people,
don't
that's
even know
one
what
of the
credit is.
first thing that they will do, because credit help you obtain wealth. Because you don't know anything about credit, your credit score is like minus 300. You know, you can even get a cell phone. You can even get gum from that. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, I'm telling you, man. It's like the
might
kid.
wanna start looking
Oh,
at
listen, I'm about to say something. You will tell me if it's true or not. The kid is 7 years old. He already has a cell phone under his name and a car under his name.
That's crazy.
You don't know that?
People still do
The
that.
parents take that. Yeah, the parents take their kid's social and use it in a certain way to accumulate certain things, and the kid already born in a place where it is already oppressed, and you put the credit on top of him. At one point they said, you know what, let me see if I could get
And then people
whatever it is.
credit.
Yes, whatever it is. Then the next thing you know, when the
I
kid
know
runs their
this.
credit, they be like, you own a T-Mobile.
Yeah.
I'm 5. How do I own a T-Mobile phone? That's because your parents does that, and they don't teach you credit. Credit is one of the biggest things they should teach you in school, but they don't.
They
Reason
never-
for it, because you could help you advance yourself. Because if your credit is good, you could get a car, you could get a house, you could get certain things. But if you don't know about it, you don't know how to go about obtain your credit to get the score to go higher, or the best that it could be, you could never make anything. How can you get a house? Would you be able to get 700 grand to go buy a house? That may never happen. If you can't even get the 20,000 that looks so appealing to most people, how you gonna get 750,000 to buy a house? Credit. I know that most people, you don't even know what you're talking about.
I know
Credit
what you're talking
is
about,
a
bro.
big thing.
Big deal.
It's a big thing, because you can't even buy this if your credit ain't good. You understand what I'm saying? Because you go there, you go buy gum and you get rejected. You know what I'm saying? Gum costs 5 cents. Your credit is not even good enough to get gum.
Money's no good here.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not 5 cents though.
At the same token is somebody who's not oppressed, who know about credit. The first thing they do is they add their kids into their credit in order to get their score higher. When the kids got a certain age, they let them get a little credit card by themselves to start building it. By the time they get to college, their credit is 700. So when they get out of school, school, they get their first job, they could go and get a car or go get a house if they need to.
Right
when
away.
the other kid is already back, now they gotta work even 10 times harder in order to try to be in the same situation as the person who already know what to do with their credit. So that's a big thing. Most people don't think of that, but that's very important, man.
That's another thing I give like the Kanye situation credit for, because he removed the victim mentality from our people too, because we speak about like this oppression stuff, but like everything that you talking like literally can learn from YouTube. Like there's no excuse for like
excuses no more.
self-sufficiency. It's just like you gotta really look yourself in the mirror and say, what action am I taking to change my situation? Because information is at a plethora. Like it's at the tip of your fingers. You know, you could look the same way you can find a distraction on your phone, you can find something educational, and really just be mindful how you're spending your energy every day. And I told Sabetta, like, just spend like 1 hour a day towards what you want to do in life. Like,
gotta work for
still
yourself.
in baby steps. Just 1 hour a day. Maybe you, whether it's committing to watching something educational, motivational, or reading something, just something that's gonna go towards your betterment. And like what you were saying about like the Messiah standpoint, like who's gonna be the Messiah? I think once you realize that, like when they say that there's a God in everyone, we're all meant to be some type of Messiah to our neighbors. So the best way you're gonna make an impact in this world is like making an impact from yourself. Like you can't change no one else if you're not the best for yourself. So if you're taking these steps and you're just worried about being the best version of yourself, you don't have to worry about saving the world, because people are gonna see what you're doing and get influenced about it. It's not about reaching 1 million people. Just reach 5 people next to you so they can reach 5 people, and they can reach 5 people, because the revolution will be more successful if it goes under the table. But once it gets loud, they always take somebody out. You know what I'm saying? So it's meant for all of us to be leaders. You know?
What you said makes sense, but like I was telling you, that it's sometimes that people emulate each other. If you do it and your son see you do it, or the neighbors see you do it, they will emulate that. Sometimes what they see is not that picture. They try to be like what they sees. So if you don't take the time yourself to teach the little ones, how you expect them to grow to be something else? You understand what I'm saying? When you have a grain, you want to plant it, you put it on the ground first, and you make sure you put water on it, you took care of it so it could grow. So you got to start from the beginning as well. So the youth, or the most important thing that you have to teach, you yourself could commit yourself to do the hour a day in order to teach yourself certain things. A kid is harder. If you then embed it into them, they won't even know what to do, because they have to get to a certain age in order to start knowing about YouTube, to learn how to do certain things, because it's not what in their mind. They want to see, hey, this guy got a car. They don't even know what the person did for it. That's what they want to be, because that's what they see.
Nah, for real though, it's definitely different.
It's just a reflection of the parents.
It's just the kind of kid. If your kid is growing up where you walk outside and there's houses and stuff, then they will be more spread out as far as how it hits them. Even though today everyone's getting hit though, right? Like back in the day, like in Long Island in particular, if you lived in Hempstead, everything hits you in Hempstead. Doesn't matter where it's at. Like everything happening in society, in the urban culture, in all of the, I like to call it the fixes,
Oh, so
or the sources.
The poverty,
Right?
Hempstead's like the hood, you say?
Yeah.
The poverty is the whole that stuff that goes.
But there's a pulse there, right? And one of the reasons is because people go in and out of Hempstead from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying in Long Island, it is in particular different from everywhere else in Long Island, and it's a hub for traffic going to the city, coming from the city, different things like that. And it's always been like that. The main hub from Brooklyn goes to Hempstead since the 50s. You know what I'm saying? Laine Terminal goes to Hempstead. Hempstead goes to Laine Terminal. You know what I'm saying? One thing I wanted to touch on real quick, Jerry's talking about, that you said, if there's no one to take out, the movement can't advance. The enemy that we fight only understands when there's a person to take out. Like that's when the advancements are made. If you look at any, I study history, so
they need a Messiah then.
I don't want to use these terms, because me and you could use these terms. We could use these terms because we're fully enriched on that word. But if we was to use that word with people that identify it differently, it won't hit the same.
Exactly.
Right? So
hero.
We'll just say a face. A face. Look, the face of a movement. Because again, when black people have a movement, white media tried to identify who's the face of it, who's responsible.
The fear of the Black Messiah.
Even to the point where they falsely will label people that they think are it, arrest them or whatever, and find out that this is not the guy. But we might say Messiah, but on a level is, if it is a Messiah, there's a Messiah for this time period to allow this to advance. Then that person dies, right? And we hope that the seeds that was planted, right? The same way when Malcolm died, in particular, and Martin died, they hoped that their energy, when they was putting all that work in, seeds would be planted in other young men to carry this on. Whether deliberately, because they all have their understudies. You got Louis Farrakhan, I was under Prophet Elijah Muhammad, all of that. Or whether it's someone like me and you, that's third party, 6 degrees of separation, witnessing Malcolm X like, yo, me and you need together because we got brothers with us already. That's what I mean when it comes to that.
But I be feeling like if you put it in forth, like there being a lack of that, then it takes away the progress that needs to happen to create that. And
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So people are waiting for the face to be there, then no one's gonna work towards being the face. Just be the best.
No one decides to be the face, though.
That's what I mean. I don't mean it's
Malcolm X never said
a desire. Yeah, like there shouldn't be a desire for that type of power. I think that's probably somewhat ego driven if you just want to be that.
I don't think any of our people wanted us to do that. We just wanted freedom. Like,
100%.
Please stop beating us. Please stop treating us like this. Please. But one thing about Malcolm X that's different is he stressed individuality of the black man and knowing self so that you can be entitled. Right? Like, because if you know what you are, you can be entitled. Like, if I know that when it comes to basketball, I work harder than everybody I know. Like, I'm in the gym when you're asleep. I be calling y'all, yo, what you doing? Yo, I'm asleep. Cool, they sleep. I'm in the gym. When I go out there and play, I'm talking crazy because I know that I be awake all the time doing this. My work speak. Kobe speak about this all the time. The process. Like, I'm so in love with the process. When we get to the game, I'm in autopilot, you know? But yeah.
Wow. So I think all these exchange of thoughts, even us sitting in the circle, even the whole purpose of this platform, this podcast, it allows us to bring people together. Like, we're on the 7th season, over 200 and something episodes, and that's like a lot of different people from a lot of different places, a lot of different ideas, showing that yes, black men could and black women could come around the table and sit and have an intelligent conversation. Yes, we are aware socially and consciously and spiritually or even religiously of what's going on around us, and we have an opinion on it where we could speak about it respectfully amongst all of us. And not only that, we can go into the world and create business and do commerce, but still not lose a piece of us, you know, by sharing a piece of us with the world still. Because I'm sure in everything you guys do in your work, you guys put a personal touch on it. So how is your company different from every other company besides you guys being black, guys doing vegan food?
So we do way more than just food. I don't know any other companies that do what we do. We put on market events where it's more than just food. We got vegan health products, wellness products. We got sound healers. We got chiropractors. You know, we got massage therapists that come as vendors. So we're way more than food. Food is probably like
merch as well.
10% of our vendors each time, but we always bring out over like 200 to 250 people, you know, consistently every event that we do. And we watched people who started with their tents, now they have food trucks. We watch people that come as spectators and now they have their own business because we created a platform and a marketplace and a demand. So personally, I don't really know anyone who's doing that. And if they are, that's what's up. But you know, I'm just focused on Long Island and tri-state area, and people come from the city and they tell me there's no events like that where they're at. Brooklyn, Staten Island, Bronx. So, you know, hopefully we're trailblazing, you know, something new, something fresh that would expand to different areas, because I think that local communities can benefit from it, local entrepreneurs, people who have ideas to be entrepreneurs, we're creating a marketplace for them.
To piggyback on what Dave said is one of the biggest compliments that we got from what we do is it's so simple, but it's a big thing. People come to us and said, I don't know what I would do if you guys didn't do this to give me the opportunity to come and present my product to the world, because they didn't have any any avenue at all. So we give them the avenue, just like Dave was mentioned. We have a couple people now that start from one court. Now they have a car. They have a truck. We have a lady that called us the other day. She was like, guess what? You guys give me the actual opportunity to show that I could do this by having my food to other people. Now I got the strength. Guess what? Now I own a restaurant. I could never do it without you giving us the platform. So even though that the idea comes together, us taking a chance doing it, because we don't know what would happen when you take a chance to do things. You will never know. If you don't take the chance, you won't know what the result is going to be. So by us doing that, we have a lot of new entrepreneur that comes out that call us all the time. Hey, I'm trying this idea. Can I come to your to the pop-up in order to present it to the world, for them to sell their product? And the next thing you know, we have from, like it says, from skincare all the way to chiropractor now that comes to our event just to promote their product. So it's just a great place to have avenues for entrepreneur to come in to show their product, regardless of what it is. We have a newspaper, we have MetLife that comes in, who sell insurance. So it comes from a tiny idea. Now, he gave opportunity to other people, which we're really proud of doing that.
Yeah. Just to add from what we was talking earlier about the Messiah standpoint, impacting your community by just doing the best that y'all wanted to do. Y'all gave a lot of other people, so it's just a prime example of just stop worrying about reaching 1 million people. Just do your best, and you'll reach who you need to reach, because the impact will be felt. So that's amazing.
The process.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that, because when we first started, we couldn't find a place to rent in order to do this idea that we had. It was it's like pulling teeth to find a place for us to put this together.
Exactly.
Now,
especially in Long Island, though, because people not programmed to facilitate such a thing. The city is that place for that.
And then on top of that, it was COVID. We started last year.
True.
There was no social gatherings. We started in the midst of that last year.
So what
in
about
July.
parks? You guys ever tried parks?
All our events have been
you don't want to
outdoors.
do that. The rules and regulations are like,
with the permits, right?
Yeah, they be on it.
Here's what happened with this. When we put the Long Island Vegan pop-up, a lot of people think that it's so easy to do. You guys don't know what is the politics that behind it. All they seeing is the finished product. They don't see what's behind it, what we have to go through in order to get this thing every 2 weeks to the public. Most people said, we could just do a Long Island Vegan pop. Go ahead, try it. You think it is what it is. No, there is so many. That's what happened is with us is we divide what we need to do. Instead of having one person do anything, we divide the task. He's great at this, I'm great at that, he's great at this. You do your part, I do my part, then the next thing you know, the team is ready to go. We all prep to know our role. I don't step on his, he don't step on mine, I don't step on neither of them. You know what I'm saying? So we're ready to go, and we put the product every week, every 2 weeks, and it's been successful this far, and we try to put it together to be greater next year. So every year that's happened, we already have an idea how to make it better than the previous year, because that's the only way there will be any progress.
So we almost at that time. So closing thoughts, gentlemen. We go around the circle. What's the closing thought that you would like to leave for the people? If you guys would like
For
to
me,
go first.
I appreciate you guys give us the opportunity to come here. It's we didn't even know this thing was going on until this young man come in to introduce it to us, and we come here to let you guys know, don't be scared to be vegan. It's not that bad.
I like ladies at the meeting. So.
But man, appreciate y'all. It's always good to have brothers come together and just have conversation with one another, obviously. But my thing is, I want us to continue to build. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times you meet people one time and say things like that, and I'm big on continuing and building relationships the moment when we meet each other at a crescendo. Because when you meet people in that initial moment, you have to capitalize while the energy is high. You wait 2, 3, 4 days to a week, people real lives settle in, and that same energy is hard to restore. You know what I'm saying? So, look, we meet a lot of different people. Certain vendors might come back. Certain vendors might have not sold a lot, but they didn't understand dynamics. Certain people didn't come with enough stuff to sell. So it's all a learning experience. But one thing I love about the vegan, is that you get to build these relationships with these people that are like-minded in the business space. You ping pong these thoughts and ideas between people, and the loyalty that we get from people, because at the end of the day, when you are facilitating something like this, you're making people money. So like, at the least, when someone sees you, Dave, Jerry, Jay, I make money when I see these guys. I love them, which is great for future projects, because when we say we having Friendsgiving, everyone's like, yeah. So, you know, but like I said, man, I appreciate y'all guys, man. All love.
Yes, man, I appreciate everybody in this room right now. It means a lot to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. And the final thought, November 20th, Saturday, Very Vegan Friendsgiving. Check us out on LongIslandVeganPopUp.com. You can follow us on social media, Long Island Vegan Pop-Up. We got the tickets on Eventbrite. Shout out to our partners, Vegan Chef Ash, West, the Vegan Food God. Shout out to Eric, Soul Plant Food. You know, the whole team, Very Vegan Events. So we got 3 different sessions. You know, we got from 12 to 3. We also got from 4 to 7. And we got the late night session from 8 to 11. We got buffet style. It's going to be the best vegan food you can get. We're going to have great vibes, live entertainment. We're going to have a full bar. Come out, enjoy. And you don't have to worry about eating any animals. Everything's cruelty free, made with love. Very Vegan Friendsgiving on November 20th, man. Check it out. We support y'all. Come out, support us. And have a good time, man.
Yes.
Facts.
Just Thanksgiving without the turkey.
Now we're gonna pop out because I want to taste it. I want to taste the vegan food.
Yes.
Facts.
I need some lettuce.
So closing thoughts, Alan?
I mean, great energy today. I guess the biggest thing from this is that since we do talk about the vegan, just taking care of your health, taking care of your lifestyle, committing some time of your day to self-improvement, I think is huge. And if there's anything that you've been inspiring to do, let today be some type of motivation to you to just go up and get 1 foot in the right direction to making that thing happen. Because as long as you believe in it, I think it can happen. You know what I'm saying? But you got to genuinely believe what you can do and don't really worry about the adversity you might face on that journey.
Mm-hmm. To piggyback on that, this is not a thought. You cannot be worried about failure. Failure, all it does is just help you to get better the next step. If you don't fail, you can't be great at nothing. But please, take the chance. Whatever you think on doing, put it to the side. Just push along and do it.
Facts. That's the realest thing I heard all night, man.
Facts. So I thank you all for coming out to watch our show tonight. Everybody that's watching, I thank my guests for coming out all the way from Long Island, New York, to come all the way out here. For those that don't know, we're located in Brooklyn, so it's quite a drive. So I appreciate them for coming out here and building with us and to share this moment in history, because this will go up in history once we hit the upload button. And you already know, who knows who's going to watch and who knows who's going to take something away from the words of wisdom that was shared today. So we thank you all for being here. We thank you all for sharing thoughts with us today. We usually close out with a prayer, so which one of you guys want to pray?
Come on, Jay, you're the talker.
I can pray, man.
I don't get them prayers.
Yo, I have to give thanks to the Most High for bringing us here together safely. Please continue to bless all of us and to bless all of the audience, everybody watching, their families. And, everybody continue to keep positive mind, keep an open mind, and, always keep your faith in the Most High at all times. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for joining. God bless and good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Next week, bro.
Give me 1 second. Let me just sign off because we're still on.
I clicked off.
It's not closing.
Yeah. We just waiting one.
It's the real world. It's the real